having a major storm.
Yeah.
Wow. And that, or we just create so much heat, so much lightning. After all, we're going to talk about the law of attraction today, the laws and flaws of attraction. And I just want to welcome all of you to the Soul View. And of course, we have Shivani and Lorelei here as co-hosts. And I see a tail swinging in
Simka
over there. So Simka is there wanting to join us as well. And of course, what we do is we take what's in the news and we talk about it from a soul point of view. And what was in the news this last week, which was really interesting for me, is Michael Jackson. They did a documentary on him. And I'm going through my own personal issue in my life, having to do with transforming your body. And so they kind of collided, and we thought, why not talk about this? Because in today's society, you know, we have the law of attraction. We draw to us what we think about the most, but also what people are thinking about is, am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I smart enough? Am I rich enough? I mean, all of these things are on our minds. So what is it that we're drawing to ourselves? And as we look around and we see everyone altering their bodies in various ways, we thought, you know, this is a great topic, because it all started where we really started seeing these changes was with Michael Jackson.
That's
Do you remember that, everybody?
Yeah.
You know, right after he did the what was the name of that song? Thriller. You know, then he started after Thriller, and he did that transformation during the video. Then he started transforming his body until after a while he was unrecognizable. Yeah. You know, and I see people with all kinds of things. Now, that's not to say that it's good, bad, or anything else, anybody. I'm just saying, you know, be conscious of why you are doing something. That's what we're asking today. So before we get into that topic, let's go ahead and have Lorelei tell us the cosmic weather. Besides the thunderstorm.
Besides the thunderstorms. Yeah, we could blame it on the void, of course, moon, but we won't do that. So we're in a full moon. We're in the full moon in Sagittarius, which, if there's ever a time to reaffirm our faith, our trust, our hope in life, in the process of life, it's the energy of Sagittarius. You know, that's the ponies in there somewhere. Everything has meaning and purpose. So no matter what anyone is going through now, not to minimize anyone that's having challenges or great stuff, whatever, but this would be a time to really get a bird's eye view of your life and look at how far you've come. Sagittarius is a wonderful energy for saying, wow, in the past, maybe that could be 2 weeks ago, I would have reacted to that situation in this way. Oh, I can see now where I'm bringing more consciousness to my interactions with people. So there can be a wonderful reaffirmation of that the universe has our back. And given the cosmic lineup of Venus in Cancer, Jupiter in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, all water, making what we call a grand trine, a round robin of harmonious energy, there really is a wonderful opportunity to tap into creative energies, to tap into energies of forgiveness, of intuition. So, I mean, the psychic hits that could be coming for folks now, whether it's a solution to something going on in your life, or all of a sudden you get the piece of information that you need around that problem, or, you know, you find yourself connecting with people that are on the same page as you. So full moon, next couple days, again, ripe to project. So this is really a time of self-responsibility. I mean, it's so easy to want to blame something outside of you, a person, a situation, for whatever you're going through or whatever you're feeling. And that's really never about what's going on out there. But at a full moon, it seems even more so. It's like, it's your fault, you know, or that's because of you. So I just encourage all of us to look at projection, and to really, in a full moon, to take back the projections. You can go, wow, look at how I'm making it about that person or that situation or that family member. I'm going to take that back now where it belongs.
I really love that. And that really speaks to me right now is, you know, being really careful to find like-minded people and not to blame for, you know, what's going on in my own life, because it's nobody's fault. It just is. And by blaming, and I found myself in that space for a little while, and I had to move away from it because it was inflaming my body. It was causing all kinds of issues. I couldn't sleep at night. You know, it was really tough. And so this really speaks to me. So that's why I'm having to deal with all this. We've got all this energy going.
Well, and you're born at a full moon too. You happen to be born at a full moon. So that's a groove that your soul knows and is very familiar with too.
Yeah. Yeah. So now why don't we go ahead and go to Shivani, and why don't you tell us about any questions and quotes from our listeners?
Sure. Okay, we have Susan Walker. She says, I stumbled upon this show tonight. I believe what you need to hear most will be there for you to hear. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Susan. And we have Lois. Cindy, Lola, and Shivani, this has probably been the best spent hour with the three of you. Yay!
Oh, yay!
Your laughter has been contagious, and I very much enjoyed all of you. Your topic, the power of love, was so genuine, and each of you expressed my sentiments of feeling the love within my own being. It took me many years to finally get it. As I continue on my journey, I love watching the play that I've made up. It really helps to see what my ego mind brings up for me to offer love to. So before I go out of the day for the day, I send love ahead of me, and that pretty much sets the tone for the day. Beautiful. Many blessings to all of you. What a nice thing to do.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
And then we have Pam. Love the show and the fun you three have together. Thanks for sharing. We're having fun.
Yeah, and we had lots of comments last week too. So if you missed last week's video, please go ahead and listen to it. It is listed on our YouTube channel. So just below the video, we will list our YouTube channel. Please go and give us a high five if you like the video, and also go ahead and subscribe to us, and that way, or to our channel. That way we can let you know when we are having another, we upload another video. And we join, you know, everyone here live on Facebook, but eventually we're going to be moving it over to YouTube once they kind of settle. They've got some changes going on. So once they settle everything, we're going to move everything over there so that you can join us. But right now we'll stay on Facebook and, of course, Zoom. So I want all of you to just take some time in the chat over there and just say hi to each other. Let us know where you're from too. And if you can relate to this topic, you know, I really want to hear from you, because this is something that I think it's a big topic in today's world. And again, with Michael Jackson just having this special, it really brings this to the forefront, you know, this transformation. What is the law of attractions, the laws of attraction, and the flaws of attraction? And I am talking about, you know, the physical, but also the mental. What are we thinking about? What are we drawing to ourselves by thinking about these things? So, Lorelei, why don't you start off with just telling us a little bit about Michael Jackson? And
well, it's interesting because, you know, that again, I'm just always so in awe of how the synchronicities unfold. While he was first of all, he was born at a full moon again. So he was a Virgo, Pisces rising, Pisces moon. And the two signs of the zodiac, and so that in and of itself, because full moon is all about, again, attraction. That's why projection is so easy at a full moon, because we are attracting exactly what's going on inside us, maybe more so than usual, because again, the energy's up. Well, the two signs of attraction are Taurus on the physical level and Libra. And Michael Jackson had prominent Libra energy and Taurus energy, which is very interesting. Two signs of attraction, born at a full moon, and he really set a tone. He was a Virgo with a lot of Leo energy, which of course would make sense, but he sort of set the tone for that in that whole transformation, you know, in that video that you mentioned, Cindy. So exploring, of course, all the outer expressions of attraction, right? How do I look? What color is my skin? What does my nose look like? What does my hair look like? What am I wearing? All forms of attraction. And then there is the inner attraction. That's the whole, that it's really an inside job. Like, am I attractive to myself? And I think sometimes people do things to be attractive on the outer. Maybe that's a flaw of attraction, perhaps, that's not congruent with who they are inside. So, to me, and I have Libra energy and Taurus energy, so do you, Cindy. So, for me personally, I'm exploring this now in terms of where has the attraction been on the outside in my life, and now where is it more internal? Like, again, where am I attractive to myself?
And, and you also mentioned that he's Virgo with Leo, and Leo, haven't you said before, that's all about the mane, making sure that they are attractive. They have their chest puffed out.
The showmanship, isn't it? It's like, look at me, I'm on stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, it's interesting because he really embodied all of that. In other words, the addictive side of his personality, that's one of the shadow sides of Pisces. We can escape with anything. We can escape with drugs and alcohol. We can escape with work. We can escape with sex. We can escape with process addiction. I'm addicted to being a victim, or I'm addicted to being whatever, abused, or, whatever it is. So he certainly had those tendencies for sure. But again, he really kind of set a bar in terms of, it's a great umbrella for us to talk under in terms of, what is attraction anyway?
So I would like to ask both of you, what is attraction to you?
God. I think in some ways it's being dictated to us, unbeknownst to us. Yeah. So, for example, how a woman should look, say, 100 years ago is very different. Yeah, or there was one like the Rubenesque figure, right, where that, the more voluptuous you could be, for example, or even, I remember in the 90s, I was in India, and in a way, the more obese you are, that was back then, they've changed, but basically being obese or being overweight was a sign that you had money and you could afford food. Yeah, that was the ideal. So I think it changed, I think it's what society in some ways, through magazines, through, environment projects onto us, how we should look. And then I think, what we think, what we think is attractive.
Yeah.
And then I think there's this inner that, yes, I'm okay. And I look okay and I feel attractive.
Well, and there's that part of attraction. And then there's the whole in other words, like attracts like, which is the whole law of attraction, what we think, what we, et cetera, like attracts like. And then there's the notion of attraction, it's broad, because it's the whole, what attractive and what's attractive and what isn't. And then there is like attracting its own, of its own level. So, and I think, the topic of attraction is so perfect for a full moon, because that's really what's happening at a full moon. If you go out the next couple of days, you'll see people attracting each other. People will come into conversation because there's this need to connect, and so what am I attracting? Well, again, if like attracts like, I'm attracting, what's going on in here. And whether it's I'm transforming my face, or my body, or, in order to be attractive. And I know for me, what I've had to learn is that I've had to learn how to be attractive to myself. And the more that I am that, the more I seem to be attractive to others, where for me, it was always about out there. It was always about, what can I do? What is the audience? What can I do to be attractive? And it's only in the last couple of years that I've really gotten, it's an inside game. It's an inside job, It's like, because that can be an appetite that's never satiated, if it's outside. There's always another thing you can fix. There's always another tuck.
Yeah.
There's always another this. So,
And I
And
think
I think
that's why
our
people are addicted today to getting tattoos and piercings. And I just saw this woman the other day, all these plastic surgeries so that she can look like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. And she does look like Jessica Rabbit a little bit. She had 4 ribs removed, actually. That was so surprising, so I look at that and I think about years ago when I first started modeling professionally, and I become a model instructor, and I would have all of my girls go out to the mall with me, and they go out and I wanted them to shut down their energy. I wanted them to think negative thoughts and shut down their energy and see what happened.
Wow.
And then I would have them go back into a different store and turn on their energy. Just turn it on and not say anything. They weren't allowed to say anything to anybody. Just turn it on with positive thoughts and see what happened. And the response that they got from the salespeople were entirely different. And I wished, of course, back then you didn't have a phone with video on it all the time. It would have been wonderful to show people, here's what happens when you turn it on. This comes from your internal light. This is the law of attraction.
That's beautiful.
Instead of the flaws of attraction.
That's a great, what a fun game what a fun thing to do. Really, I mean, because that's absolutely, it's so true. And to just play that game with self and to just see, to just watch. Oh, Cindy, that's brilliant.
So we have a comment from Diane. Hi, everyone. Diane from Massachusetts here. I have to share, a fellow teacher that I work with was planning on having a very expensive facial surgery this summer. She came to school this Monday with her right side of her face drooping as she came down with Bell's palsy over the weekend. She canceled her surgery and is seeing my homeopathic friend this weekend.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that might be the universe saying, you don't need to have this done.
That's what I was, exactly. Wow. Well, sending you love and light for sure, to that person. That's...
And I think I love what you said, Cindy, because the other, the reverse would be, you could look the part, right? Whatever the ideal is in our society, but if you still don't believe it, if you don't feel good about yourself, then that animation doesn't come through.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why when you think about it, it's energetic. So somebody might be dressed to the nines and be made up, and someone else may just be kind of casual and maybe a little bit of lipstick, not much. And energetically, that's what a cool experiment. And especially I'm thinking with young people, with like teenagers that are just starting to understand how things work, to kind of leave them to that, to that game and having their own experience of that. As opposed to, we want to school people and read this book all about the law of attraction. You want to know about the law of attraction? Go do what you're suggesting.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what I think is interesting is that a lot of young people today are getting their identities through tattoos. And they say once you have one, it becomes an addiction and you want more and more and more. And what I've seen is, instead of being able to see the person, and I have to be so cautious of this because my granddaughter has tattoos, and I think if that's your thing, that's fine. But what happens is people end up noticing your tattoos and not you. They're not seeing the you that you are, and like the book Happy Birthday to Me, Dr. Seuss, no one alive is youer than you. But we can't see the you that you are, that if there are things covering that up. And
but, I have a friend and a client who she tattooed "let go" on her leg because she needed to remember. I mean, she's made that her, like, that, allowing that, she's a Taurus, and Taurus doesn't let go very easily. So she has a tattoo that says that, which, again, I couldn't get one because I don't like pain. But what I'm, but again, I can see, some of them are beautiful, and if you need that reminder and you want to put it on your arm or your leg, that's cool to me. I just wouldn't do it because, like I said, I'm a sissy in terms of, I watch movies where people get tattoos and I go, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think the question is not whether or not you should.
Right.
It's being aware of why.
Right.
The real why behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I have met, in fact, just at Walmart just recently, there was a girl and she had the sleeves, or she had one sleeve done and just starting on the other. So she's doing her whole arms.
Oh, yeah.
I did not notice it until she brought it up. Her light was so bright.
Ah, look at that.
So her reasoning for it is artistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I can see that.
She's an artist, and I saw her heart. I saw her and felt her soul, and I never, ever noticed her arms until she brought it up. And I thought that was so interesting. So it's not whether or not you should or shouldn't do things, but don't let it extinguish your light.
Right.
And don't let it be something that you hide behind, because if it is, then therein lies the real problem, or the
feelings. And if it is that, then what we will attract will be that, will be that inauthenticness, if you will, in the people that we attract, so it's that what's going on here attractive wise, and then what are we attracting as a result of, what attraction looks like here. And again, if someone, because I've seen some tattoos that are absolutely beautiful, and they are works of art.
They are.
Totally.
And I think there's a difference if you do whatever augmentation or procedure and it really comes out of celebrating yourself, or maybe, with a tattoo, quite often people had a huge transformation, or they had a baby, or, like they just want to have that memory or put that on their skin. So very different to basically, well, I don't look right, I hate myself, and then I have to do something to fix it on the outside.
And again, I don't have a problem with any of that. As you know right now, and one of the things that I'm going through myself is, many years ago, I had breast augmentation, and I found out now that there's something called breast implant illness. And I have joined a group of people, and it's not just breast implant, by the way, it's chin implants, it's butt implants, it's hip implants. All kinds of implants are causing the same issue if they're made of the silicone material, and people are getting sick and they don't know why. And these same people, and we'll talk more about this next week in part 2, but I just want people to be aware, know what you're getting into, because at the time, many years ago, that I had this done, they said it was completely safe, no problem. Well, now we know that, of course, is not true. So some of the things that you may be doing for yourself right now can put your life in danger. So what is it that you're attracting? I felt like I did it in a totally innocent way. I wasn't forced into it. It wasn't, I won't go into the whole story here, but it was, I already felt good about myself. It was just an enhancement. So it wasn't anything that I felt like I absolutely had to do. So again, we'll talk a little more about that if people are interested. If you are interested in hearing about it, please go ahead and put a message in the box over there. If you want to hear a little more about it, we will cover this a little more at length, and maybe even have a special show about it, because this is something that's very prevalent, especially amongst women right now.
Well, and what is it that you said, that the college grad female, that's the number one thing?
Yeah.
Desired is
for college graduate, they are, well, for high school and college, their number one request is breast augmentation.
Wow.
Yeah, breast not just augmentation, but implant. So, and these same girls are finding that they become very, very sick within, I would say in the group of 42,000 women, primarily women, most of them are under 30 and they can't function.
Wow.
And, you know, I'm in my 60s and having some issues with it, but it's another thing when you're that young and you can't move off the couch. You can't, you know, tend to your children, you know, that kind of stuff. So again, I really want to stay focused on the reason today that we have these things done. And again, for me, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't, I could have lived with it or without it. It wasn't a big deal for me. I didn't want to be all chesty and everything. I just wanted to be a little perky. So,
funny.
you know, there are reasons, but I always feel like my light shines brighter than anything, you know, and it was through working with those students that really made me that much more aware of how we shine our light in the world and what we attract because of that light.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Sydney said, Cindy, I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through this. Perky is good if you just encased it in something different.
And by the way, this isn't something I've ever wanted to talk about, but it's something from a soul view. When you're given something like this, then you have to know what you're supposed to do with it. And as a teacher, as a spiritual leader, it is what I'm supposed to do. And even the #1 woman that's done the biggest research, plastic surgeon that's done it, she went on the same journey, and she's got a wonderful book on it, and I'll talk more about that.
Well, again, that can be really applied to other things as well. I mean, in terms of the process of, again, not to, of course, minimize the health risks, but I mean, other things that people do where there are these, you know, risks that weren't known when the particular procedure or whatever it was, you know, was embarked upon.
Right. And then the other thing that I'm seeing are the piercings, although it seems to not be as prevalent as it once was. Remember, people were doing the ears like this, and then they lost part of their ear. The doctor that I'm going to right now to help with the issue that I've got going on, he showed me pictures where they had to reconstruct the ear because people had so many piercings, it died. It just fell right off. And so I think that young people are becoming more aware of that, and it's not quite as prevalent. You'll still see a stone in the side of their ear or maybe a lip piercing, but you're not seeing all the multiple piercings like this as much. Still exists. It's not as popular, I think.
Well, you know, and it says to me something about, you know, the piercing piece, you know, in other words, to me, it seems like an act of individuality. It's like, I'm an individual, I'm unique, you know, I'm one of a kind. I mean, you know, in other words, it's sort of like I'm outside the box and I'm going to do this because it goes against the status quo, you know, somehow it's rebelling against something, if you will. The reason I bring that up, which I would have, is that Mars now, the planet of what drives all of us, is in Aquarius. And it will be till the fall, which is very unusual because it's going to retrograde. We'll be talking about this later. It'll be later in June. Mars will go backwards in Aquarius. So we're talking about things like piercings and, you know, that set people apart in a way, but make them unique. So, you know, it's almost like we're all going to be looking for, you know, not trying to fit in where you've been trying to fit in, but being okay, being one of a kind. Whatever that means. And if it looks like a piercing, well, then it may be a piercing. I mean, but we're all going to have that opportunity, in other words, to really sort of stand in the individuality of who we are. And if it might mean going it alone for a while, because some of the affiliations that people have had, either family or friends or groups, don't really support who that individual is anymore. You know, I think we'll see people sort of shifting alliances in order to be more authentic.
And by the way, you can be authentic with or without those things.
Totally.
You know, I feel like I'm authentic, and I don't have any tattoos and
Yeah.
a couple of piercings.
And you're going to have green hair, you know. I think
Yeah, she's got green hair. And by the way, I love this stuff. I love the nose. When I see young girls with the just a little diamond here, I think that's actually attractive and very individuals. It's just knowing the why, because knowing the why alters what you attract because of it. Just like this young girl that had this, like I said, I didn't even notice. We were talking probably 15 minutes.
Wow.
And she said, well, when I got this, when a family member died, I was like, oh, totally. Her light was shining so bright that
That's
this is just a creative expression.
That's such an interesting point, because typically one would focus on all that other stuff, but because, as you said, her light was so bright, you didn't even see those accoutrements.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And know the why, and make sure at a soul level, the law of attraction, you draw to you what you think about the most. If you are thinking about your light, then if you want to be creative with your body and have these unique expressions, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that can make all the difference in how people see you. And just like this girl. And then other people will use it to hide behind. Someday you'll have to address what it is that you're hiding. You know, it could be, we've talked about this in the past, your shadow self, trying to cover up a shadow. It still exists.
Yeah, I think if you're unhappy and then you have a procedure, the procedure basically won't make you happy. You might be happy for a little while. Look at me.
Yeah, and then another one because you can't find fulfillment. In that one thing.
Well, it has to continue to be fed in some way. Yeah. Whatever that lack feeling has to be fed by whatever, another procedure or, a relationship or, And as I said, it's going to be an interesting, because to me, whatever the planets do, retrograde, whatever. So the fact that we're going to have Mars in Aquarius, I think till October, when it's usually just a couple months, really underscores the fact that we're all going to have an opportunity for a greater sense of individuation, whatever that looks like for someone.
And we can be an individual through painting. Eva, who does this painting back here, that is her creative expression. My granddaughter, Sarah, she does all this stuff for her creative expression. My sister's an artist also. She makes jewelry and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways to express yourself that don't cause you physical harm, so think about that as well. I got real nervous for some friends that have a lot of piercings when I started seeing all the fixing of the ears. I didn't know that was an issue.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Any other comment?
Sorry. I think in some ways, if you're really established, like if you've already made real deep connection with your soul part, where okay, I know who I am, I know I'm love and light, feel basically okay about myself, then I think you can go to town with it. Yeah. Like if you want to have double D or E boobs, go for it, because or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because
great quote from Shivani Ganel.
But if you think that's the ego having fun, then right?
Yes,
that's the expression.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah,
beautifully said. By the way, I'm not a double D.
And that's what, when you said what makes you attractive, everybody has a different point of attraction. So, so if that's good about and it makes you feel even better, go for it. But the connection with you and your spirit, your soul, ideally needs to be fostered first.
So can I be really naive here for a minute? It is really naivete on my part, I think. So is it really that simple that most of the time, if someone is wanting to augment their breasts, it is to attract the man or the woman? I mean, whatever. I mean, it is specifically to, because
I would say the majority of time when people want to any kind of augmentation to their body, whether it's piercing, tattoos, plastic surgery, anything like that, it's mostly about, I would just feel more comfortable filling out my clothes a little better. Looking good in a bathing suit again. Women that have had children, that's a big issue. I am all for having the mommy makeover where women that have, a lot of extra skin after having children, I am all for them doing that because they feel better. And here's what I found out, which was really interesting just from talking to other women that have had the mommy makeover, had the tummy tuck, in other words. And they said, I got my self-confidence back and I started working out more. I started caring more about my body because I liked what I saw in the mirror. So it was like my whole soul became alive and I didn't do it for anybody but me.
Right.
And that's the right.
I think that's the key.
That is,
That's
absolutely. Yeah.
Who am I doing it for?
But
that's why I was asking, because I know that's a naive question, but I had to ask it.
Yeah. Do it. If you want to do it, that's fine. Just know why.
Yeah.
And what are you, by doing it for somebody else, what you're going to attract is more people that want you to do something for them.
Right.
You're not good enough. So do this for me.
Right.
And, that's the wrong thing to attract in your life. I've been in that trap before and it does not feel good. I would love to know if anybody else has ever been trapped by that before, people pleasing all the time, doing things for other people. And, after a while you get used up.
Says the Libra part of your personality. And I am one. So, but believe me, I know all about people pleasing and approval seeking.
Yep. Were you that way, Shivani?
I don't think
No.
that way.
Not that much. No, I was the rebel.
Okay.
Yeah. I see you really just standing in your individuality, your power. I don't think that's not part of her wiring.
Yeah, no.
That's good. That evens out this trinity here.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we got two people pleasers here.
I mean, did I feel self-conscious about my appearance, and did I feel, I was too fat, I was this? Absolutely. I think I dare say most women grow up like that.
Yeah.
But I was the rebel. It was the opposite. Like in Germany, it's different again. But say in the 70s, when I was young, 80s, you wouldn't shave. Yeah, you didn't shave your legs or your armpits. And I was a rebel. Like I didn't shave for a long time, even in Australia. And my husband loved it. But that was my rebellion.
Well, if I wanted to rebel in that way, it's not going to work because I really don't even have to shave.
Yeah, no.
I have people ask me all the time if I shave my arms. No, we got this family. I do want to say over here, I saw in the chat where we have people from, let's see here. Hi. Hi. Happy friendiversary from Sydney. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sydney. I love you, Sydney.
Yeah. And we've got Vicky Lee from New Zealand. And let's see here. Who else do we have? We've got Maggie from Kentucky. And then do we have any other comments there? I can't see them
looking.
Well enough. And I'm going to look on Facebook.
Well, Sydney says, as Tina Turner said, just have things put back where they belong.
There you go.
And oh my God, I've done it again and again for decades and then resented it mercilessly. As in people pleasing, I assume. But yeah.
What happens there? That's an excellent point, by the way, because here's what happens to a lot of people. They will go through this time where they please, 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 please. And then it's like a pressure cooker where you're stuffing down all these emotions and these resentments and all of this feeling on the inside. And then one day you explode and you start attacking people that ask you for anything instead of pre-warning people. That's what I call it, pre-calling. I've gone through a real shift in my life, and I've been a people pleaser for many years, and I've decided that that's been hurting me. So you're going to see a shift in my behavior where I'm going to think about myself first.
Yay!
That's a different way of addressing it than just exploding, like a pressure cooker, just one day, and being really conscious. That's what conscious living is all about. Yeah. So when you do it in that way and you start taking control of your life, what happens is you start attracting all kinds of other people who have also gone through the same thing and are also claiming their freedom from being a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Just like Lorelei and I.
Well,
attracting each other.
Yeah, and John is a double Libra, and I'm a Libra, so we've really had to work out the people pleasing.
Yeah.
He'll go, I wouldn't mind if I didn't have to, instead of no.
And I have said to people before, I could say yes to please you, and then I would be doing myself a disservice.
Yeah.
So I have to think about me. I have to think about my family, and saying yes to you means I have to say something, to notice something else that may be more important to me. So, I think that's really a key. I think somebody else has a comment over there. Can anybody see that?
Yeah, Sydney said, yes, needed to send up a flare. I'm all used up. Don't ask anything today. I think we need a t-shirt or at least a coffee mug. I like that. Coffee mug here. That's my answer.
If there's somebody out there that wants a creative expression, create a logo for us.
Yeah, coffee mug.
Yeah.
Go for it, Sydney. You're a Pisces. Sydney, she's a Pisces too.
Yeah, Sydney.
Yeah.
That's great.
But, and I was just thinking of one thing. So say the people pleasers, right? Projection would look like being angry at the person who is taking care of themselves, who's not pleasing, right? And focusing on them. Oh my God, how selfish they are, when the people pleaser is wanting to be more that way. That's projection. One aspect of projection.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that is true.
Yeah, and that's a real subtle one too.
Yeah,
Real subtle.
It really is.
They're angry at the person that's doing exactly what they need to do, but they're not there yet. So they're projecting that energy onto, oh, can you believe how how self-centered or whatever that person is?
Well, I think the bottom line here is knowing what it is that we want to attract and being crystal clear when we do something. It's perfectly fine. Know why and what it is that you want to attract from others. And just like this girl, I will remember her always, 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 the one with the tattoos that I never saw. Her light is shining brightly. This was for her, not for anybody else. It was her artistic expression. So however you express yourself, whether it's through, piercings, tattoos, augmentation, whatever it is, let your light shine, and then you will attract what you really want into your life.
Yeah.
Yep. Well said.
The outside augments the inside.
Yeah. And if it's something you just want to do because you want to feel better in your own skin, I have no problem with that. I always say, someday I might get my neck done. I don't know. Because I look like rungs on a tree. It shows my age.
Yeah, I've definitely got,
that's where we show it. I don't think
totally.
we do anything else other than I do facials and stuff. But
we've got another one from Vicky. Yep, I just had my eyebrows microbladed for another year, and I'm so happy having good eyebrows. I agree. I'm with you, girlfriend. I do that.
What is that?
Oh, it's basically if you can get your eyebrows tattooed. Because I tell you what, it's unusual, but it does happen. I plucked my eyebrows when I was 15, And back then you had like the pencil thin eyebrows that was in fashion. They never ever grew back. I had beautiful eyebrows, and then as I get older, you get patchy because you lose your hair. And so I also had them tattooed and made a difference. Like my whole face became more symmetric.
Oh, I want to know about that because I've never had eyebrows. Or I have them, but they're blonde.
Right.
I'm interested in that.
Okay, nothing to do with anyone else. This is me waking up and not having to do anything with them, but look in the mirror and go, hang on, look in the mirror and go, what lovely eyebrows. I agree, I'm with you.
I am too.
I was talking to the lady that did them, and she was saying how it's quite different with my attitude and the 23-year-olds one. They want celebrity eyebrows and feel really bothered and down about their own, in brackets, perfectly good ones at 23, whereas I get to look good for me, and it's never coming from the place of lack or feeling bad about myself. And I don't mind if I attract someone else with awesome eyebrows.
She just did.
Yeah, that's it. And Sat Prem, I'm getting my neck face done this summer. It's taken me 5 years to decide, and I finally reached a place that it's for me. So I'm taking the leap.
I think that is the key.
And that is exactly. It's about, because I agree. I look in the mirror and I think, hey, love what I see, and it's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, and know that. And, for anyone that poo-poos it, just tell them, I'm doing this for me because I love me, because I just want to feel fresher and brighter. And, I'm coming from a heart space for me. The love.
And it gives a whole new meaning to thine own self be true.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And, at this point, I don't plan on having anything like that done, but there may be a day, and I certainly would do the eyebrows. That's
it makes a difference, I tell you. Eyebrows are vital.
My mom always shaved hers off and then painted them on, because hers are, I got her eyebrows where they just don't show up. They're so light.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see you with dark eyebrows, we'll know.
Okay, well, look out.
That's right.
Oh, God.
So any other final comments, ladies?
For me, just in terms of, now that I think about the Mars in Aquarius, it's like the universe is setting it up for all of us to really step into greater authenticity, whatever that means to each individual.
That's it. And Shabani?
Yeah, and I think this authenticity, authenticity ideally comes from a place of that you're already worthy, you're here on the planet, you don't have to work for your entry ticket, and you're loved, you are love, and anything out of that energy, whatever you want to do with your body, is fine. Yeah.
And that Dr. Seuss quote is great, Cindy. There's no one youer than you.
Yeah.
That's a great and that's a great Aquarius quote to me.
Yeah, I love that. And for those of you, I don't even know if I have it in here. I usually have it everywhere that I am where I'm doing this, because that was a gift from Ferris at a time when I didn't know I was meer than me.
And wouldn't it make sense? He's an Aquarian, that he would give you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would underscore it for him too.
So go out and you don't even have to buy it if you don't want to, but you can sit there and just read it, and it really will open your heart. And the one that we talked about last week too, which is the missing piece. That's another one where if we feel like something is missing, go read that book too. It's beautiful. So thank you all for joining us here today. And please leave your comments if you do want us to talk about or maybe even do a separate call on breast implant illness or implant illness, and any kind of implant, because men are getting it as well as women. If you're having some health issues, they've run all the tests and nothing is, they're saying you're fine, they're not finding anything, or suddenly your immune system's getting worse, then and you've got some kind of implant, that may be what it is. So let us know if you want us to talk about that. We can even bring on some special guests. I know many that will be willing to share their own personal journey with you. So let us know in the comments. Any other comments, Shivani?
No, Sydney talked about the Dr. Seuss quote that she loves it. I think I'll be making a poster of that one. Thank you so much. This was fabulous. Your energy is harmonized and certainly beautify. Beautify.
Yeah, I love that.
Beautiful. That flies for the Sagittarius full moon. Beautiful. Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you all for being here. Much love to you. And next week will be part 2, where we will continue the conversation. So please put your questions and comments in, below, to the side, whatever technology you're on. Go ahead and comment, because we are going to base part 2 on your feedback, your comments on this, because we feel like it's really a very big topic. That's why we're doing it in 2 parts. So until next time, much love to you, and namaste.
Namaste.